Hi! Happy New Year! It's been a bit since I uploaded, and I got a new burst of followers or subscribers from my wonderful friend Gina's. And I wanted to make sure I catch you all and show you my work. If you haven't seen my videos, I definitely encourage you to look at my previous ones, but this one is also another introductory video to me and what I do. So, hi, I'm Peggy. I'm a storyboard artist, character designer, and a comic artist. I am recently working on my comic called Plain Jane in a Slumber Party Disaster, but I won't be really showing all of my comic all that much, but if you want to look into what I'm doing in that, go to my blog. My most recent blog post is called creative process, practice and testing, and you get to see what I've actually been doing in terms of my comic process and stuff. So yeah, go visit that over there. But over here, I was going to make a pixie snippet, and then I finished my sketchbook. So I actually thought it would make way more sense to actually just show you a sketchbook tour, because it has everything from the pixie snippets, but all contained in one. I am not too sure if I'm allowed to show you the last page, because I am doing a collaboration with a friend, and we haven't discussed if we could show anything or not. So yeah, I won't show you the last page until I get a confirmation about it. So when I stumble upon the last page, it will either be blurred out or not, depending if I edit it. So yeah. Anyways, let's go over to my desk and you get to look at my sketchbook. Yay! Okay, hi, welcome to my desk. Here we are. I will definitely be flipping through. I don't know if I'm going to explain all these pages in depth, so if I do, I'll just add more context to the pages on the screen or talk it out, either or. So yeah, here we are. My desk, not my desk, what? My sketchbook resides in this wonderful little pouch. It contains my journal and my pocket notebook and all that stuff. So here's all my art supplies if you're ever curious of what I'd be using. But yeah, so we're gonna check this out. This A5 sketch is actually an A5 binder notebook. I decided to do binders for all of my journal ecosystem simply because I did not want to continue buying sketchbooks as someone who is very, very broke. So this cost overall $13, but that's because of shipping. But it was like $5. You can get it off JetPens, I believe, and other websites like Amazon, but I suggest you to shop small and support local businesses if you can. So yeah, here if you want a closer look, these are Domo. We got Chikawa stuff, and my wonderful friend Mel shipped me scenario stickers, and I love them. So yeah, my sister gave me this sticker. I love it. So yeah, we're gonna open this. I have a quote in here. This says, "Dear artists, remember that the opposite of depression is not joy, it's expression. So create, 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 for it's the soul's medicine." Yeah, and I wanted to add that because I live with it. So yeah, I call it Sketchbooky. Here's me, and some little doodles. You get some ASMR if you really like it. We're gonna flip. This is not actually part of the sketchbook, but I just decided to add it. Keep it there because I sometimes forget how to open up these little, I don't know what they're called. So here we are, the first page. I started this in October. Here's me testing out the paper because this paper is actually real smooth. If you like that. I was testing my fountain pen, which it was this. It is a Lamy Safari transparent pen. If you want to try fountain pens for like these are actually really expensive. I don't really suggest buying this brand if you want to start out. This is my starter fountain pen. I think you can do something better and less expensive. Maybe check out the Pilot, whatever the fuck it's called. So yeah, I was testing out if it holds marker really nicely, because this is the paper they give you when you like start out. So yeah, and it does not bleed. If you want to try campus notebook paper, just know it does not bleed with Crayola markers. I shook this, so sorry. The next page, I wanted to like practice perspective and all that stuff, so I was just drawing things around. And also my girl Jane, she's the comic that I was writing, Plain Jane. Yes, so check that out. Visdev cute, because I do this like tactic where you actually place the dots on a page and you connect them, similar to like the little exercise stuff, like connect the dots that you do as a kid. So yeah, if you can't see that, here's a closer look. I can always take a photo. Thing Unnatural by Calabrese is a song that I actually really love, and check them out, their work is awesome. Okay, here's more life studies of stuff I was looking at. I was cat sitting with a friend, and I was just drawing like I think this is their litter box. This was a air diffuser. This was like a little circle or ring where the cats run around and like play with each other. I don't remember what this is. Anyways, their bed, and then there like is a pull-out bed on a couch, and it had like a little pattern that I was really interested in. I also dated this, was October 19th. I'm gonna mistakenly keep hitting this, so I'm so sorry if anyone is like easily motion sick. I was coming up with ideas for an animated GIF of my like blog, because we were hitting the 1 year anniversary of it existing. So I was like breaking down or coming up with ideas that I can do for my blog, and I was like, I could be like flying and pointing at the 1 year of Pixie Doodles, or a dance. And then this was me working out, where I could how I'm gonna price it if it's a discount, and I did not figure out how to do the discount code name, but essentially it was a link on my blog that linked to the discount. I'm not sure if it worked, but whatever. Here's more cat sitting. I was drawing Genus because he was there drawing on my iPad, and I wanted to draw my sketchbook. Here's a cat. I don't know which cat I was studying. There's 2 cats there. The person had a gingham pumpkin plush that I really love. I'll probably throw a photo up there if I still have it, but it was cute. I liked it. And there was a cat next to him. I was drawing Gina's nose because I like his nose shape a lot. ASMR. More 1 year stuff. Here was like the thumbnail for the blog post telling people that the 1 year is coming up. Yeah, and these are just different ideas. Here's me hugging the paper. I don't know what I was actually thinking about that, but anyways, here's me looking at myself, and then here's what I essentially landed on. This is gonna make this annoying sound that I don't like. So yeah, I was sitting on a cake, and it has like decorative icing or whatever on here. I thought that was so cute. So yeah. This is Grimdillon. I love her. I don't have much to say about her because she's not an actual character yet. So these are like designs I was coming up with. I really do like these two designs. I did redesign her again, but I might actually revert back to these because they're so good. And here's the color palette that I wanted to go with because I wanted her to be an opposite like character type from Jane. I don't know if I want them to be in the same universe or not, but yeah, whatever. Here's more perspective stuff. I don't know that you can see. Probably not. But here's me drawing my pencil case. I have over there, and they had stickers, and I was just drawing what's inside. Here's me practicing perspective. I can't even tell you what it is, but whatever. A cube. Here's some bottles. I think this is my nail polish right here. And this is something. Oh, my spray bottle. There we go. More Grimdillon. Here's me figuring out how to stylize her. Clone High has really cool hands that are like real stylized, and I love how they look, but this is me going off memory. So if I was to actually study it, I don't think it would be like exactly this, but it'd be a little bit different. So yeah. There she is. She's cute. Let's go. As the title says, book talk GIF ideas. I came up with this because on the portion of my blog, there was nothing there for people to actually look at. So I found it really boring visually because like I have all these like cool little exciting bits and bobs on my like blog, and I was like, if they're listening to my podcast and they want to be like looking at or have the site up, I want something for them to look at while I'm talking at them because I was rambling. I rambled. So yeah. And now that I remember, I forgot to put that up in the book talk portion of my blog from the most recent blog, so I gotta fix that anyways. So yeah. Anyways, here's some ideas. Here's me just yapping, and then my microphone, which is right here, you can currently see. It's gonna be podcast style because I am talking to you in a podcast style way. And then here's me talking to the viewer, and they just nod while I'm just yapping. And this is what I essentially landed on. So yeah. And then because it's a GIF, I want it to loop, and I want the loop to be a little bit natural. So yeah, here's that. And then of course I was coming up with how the title will look like or whatever. So yeah, there we go. I think I just did a regular text and then it was in the bookmark. So there we go. Logo design. It's gonna be a lot of blog stuff in the sketchbook because that's the thing that makes me money, and that's the only thing I work on. So yeah. So here's my logo. My old logo was like kind of whatever, and I wanted to like make it more stylized and whatever according to what my taste is now, because back then it was a little bit more, I don't want to say grim, definitely grungier, and the color palette was darker. My color palette has shifted from like cool tones to much lighter, softer tones and all that stuff. I'll pull up an example later. So yeah, anyways, I wanted to figure out where I can put pixie doodles in a way that was like interesting to look at, and of course here's what the blog is technically about. It is about process or progress over perfection, and that's also what my YouTube channel is about. I want to focus on showing you my process or progress over like perfection, because perfection doesn't get me anywhere. So complete, not perfect. That's what my like motto is for. It was my motto for last year, and it's my motto for this year essentially. So yeah, here's that. here's me sitting on a piece of paper in a large pencil writing my blog's name. Me as a pixie, and then me with the pixie doodles coming out, and then me doing the like Adventure Time sort up thing. Yep. Here's more blog ideas. I think I was gonna be on the side sitting down and of course continuing off the first thing here where the pencil is writing my blog's name. It was gonna be rainbow. I thought of it. No idea. More me sitting and like I figured out why it didn't work. I tried it again. Still the post was too crowded because of my design. So yeah. Really cute though. Oh well. So this out of context is just like a comic strip, but giving you more context on my blog posts, I have a paid tier where you get monthly comic strips about what happened that month. So in early November, I went to my friend's house and we watched the Spider-Man trilogy by Sam Raimi, and essentially it was me rating all the movies throughout. I liked the first movie, the second movie was pretty good, the third movie is dog shit. And then the bonus thing here was me and my friends also ended up watching Sinners, and our reaction was like, no! So yeah. And then I went to a party that month, Day of Dead party, and my friends were story writing, and I was looking in a mirror, and my friends was hiding in a closet because it was supposed to be a little joke, and then my other friend was coming behind me to stab me. So yeah. And then my friend's sibling was showing me a DVD he made because he really likes physical media. So yeah, it's like passing of time technically. So yeah, check out my paid tier on my blog if you are interested in what the final version looks like. Yeah. Here's me breaking down my thumbnail ideas for my slowing down blog, I believe that's what it's called. No idea. So I wanted to figure out which the best way to represent me telling myself to like take my time and not rush things. So I wrote, and this text is like me telling myself not to rush, giving myself permission, blah blah blah, being mindful of like my body and mind, so I'm not like messing things up recklessly or whatever. So yeah, that's that. Let me give you a close-up so you can see it. Yeah, there's more of that. These are so cute. Maybe I'll use this a different time, but it's just me telling myself to slow down or whatever, me sitting next to myself. Yep, that's it. You can pause the video if you want a closer look. More Grim Dylan. Stylize. I really like this one. I don't know why I never implemented that one into the design. I might go back and revisit this. This is so cute. This welcome page animation that I showed in I think one of my last Pixie Snippet videos. I'm not sure. I did not finish this, but essentially it is just me looking around and me coming up and waving. So yeah, there's that. I have to go and finish this and add it to my welcome page. I think it's really cool. So yeah. I was at Gina's house, and I was drawing the items in his house. Got me coffee, and it was like, this was supposed to be like a darker purple or whatever, but it was not, so whatever. I was making do with the colors that I had at the time. So yeah, here's the, I don't know what's it called, a remote for, what is it called? It's a remote for doing VR stuff. There we go. Here's me drawing a paint palette from a video of still life that I was watching. So crunchy. And me writing down notes of a storyboarding project that I want to do. Playing James Honoro, which is essentially talk about burnout and overexerting yourself for scholar approval and then falling into this trap where that's the only thing that people expect you to excel in. So yeah, that. Here's just real rough thumbnails about that storyboard idea. I might revisit this in the future. Maybe not, but I have to like write a script about it. So if you see me working on this in the future, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah. Anyways, here's Jane looking at her report card or grades with her parents or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, you're doing a good job, keep this up and you'll be on a roll in no time. And then Tyrone, which is a character that is introduced in the upcoming comic that I'm working on, so yeah, Tyrone comes over and he's like, hey Jane, what are you getting on your science test? And she's like, same as I always get, what about you? And he's like, I got a C+, I could do better. And yeah, essentially that's where I left it off. This idea does not get fleshed further beyond this page, but whatever. This is coordinated back to my blog, losing my creative touch. I was definitely going through a crisis that my sketchbook, funnily enough, my sketchbook did not feel creative enough as it used to be. So I feel like a whole different person when I'm working in my sketchbook. These feel more technical than my old sketchbook stuff, essentially. So I feel like I had lost my whimsy from doing this or whatever, but in a way, looking back and reflecting overall, I think I did not lose my whimsy. I think it's just in a different form right now. It's easier to like create stuff because it has purpose. Me doing life studies of my littlest pet shop that I have, which is right here. This guy. I was drawing him at different angles. Yeah. They have like weird bobblehead stuff. Here's the sound for you. Yeah. These are the latest pet shops and they look different. I did not want him. I really wanted the fucking purple purple panda. Whoa. So yeah. Anyways, I drew my collar here. All this stuff. That's a cutie. I'm trying to add textures to the cutie. This is my lip balm. Yeah. Mark Grimdillon. I was trying it in a different style. The style is Magical Doremi, which is a magical girl anime that I grew up with, watching on 4Kids, and I'm currently rewatching it, English dubbed, because I'm nostalgic for that version. So yeah, really, really, really anime, out of my comfort zone usually. Funnily enough, I grew up drawing a lot of anime, but now I can't really do it, so whatever. Here's Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura, and I was drawing her eyes and attaching it to Grimdillon. Yeah. Upcycle designs for my clothes. I never actually did this. During my winter break, I was supposed to actually do some bleach designs on my clothes to make it feel more personal and me, but I never did that, so yeah. I think they're still cute. Maybe in the future I will actually get to it. Here's a viewpoint out of my window. It was like sunset, I believe, and the sun was coming down and hitting the sides of my garage in a way that was really nicely, and I was trying to replicate it in the materials. This is not watercolor. This is a Neocolor Caran d'Ache water soluble 2 version Really cool products. I think it's a little bit expensive though, so do I recommend them? Maybe. Depends on if you're doing this type of work. If not, I say skip them. December 12th, here's where I came over to Gina's house and took care of him for the 2 weeks. And he did not share this information, but the leg that he got shot in made his foot swollen. So I was just drawing it because it was really swollen. But it's because I also don't draw feet. And I'm like, wow, let me draw someone's feet because they're just out and about here. Real crazy. That's crazy to say, but you gotta study. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out the shape. Since the shape is so weird because it's swollen, I was like, what? That's unusual. It was like real fat. Yeah, drawing his toe was curling up in a way that was like, it didn't look natural, and I did not know how to communicate that. And Gina's gonna watch it and like, my foot doesn't look natural. Rude. It was swollen. So yeah, drawing the toe. His like body proportions are so angular. Like it is a common thing that I mentioned that he's like so like cartoon shaped, like square. So yeah. Anyways, I drew a cup that he gave me, or that was on the side of his bed, because he had a bed tray. These are cup of fruits. I think it was a sock next to him. Here's some arm deodorant, my coffee in a cup, and I don't know. Oh no, those are scissors too. Yeah. And his pills. He had so many pills. They make this really nice sound that I wish was recorded. And here's him holding, or me holding, one of the pills. Because it was like so, like, it's so cartoony. Everything about it was so cartoony. If your imagination of a cartoony pill, yeah, that's what it looked like. Here's more drawings of his foot, except it's gesturally. So there's his foot, here's his head, going into like this, the back of his head, going into him reaching over. And I was just trying to communicate that. This is a whole separate drawing. His arm reaching up, and then him leaning forward. So these are separate drawings, if you can see. The splotches are from, the pen from behind. It is, the paper has shifted. This is no longer canvas paper, this is regular sketchbook paper. So yeah. So there you go. More blog stuff. I was trying to figure out the thumbnail for how I want the blog post to look like. It was talking about my, the art direction I want to go in, so I made it kind of look like a journey. I'm heading towards this direction, so yeah, there's that. And then some life studies. The gingle, which I have. Let me try not knock something down. Right here. It's not the actual plush. I made a challenge with my college friends to 3D model Bug Gangle from the toy, and my wonderful friend from Singapore, his name is Elijah, he's a stop mo animator, made this for me and shipped it out, and it's in my room. Little baby. So yeah, there you go. These are more bleach designs for my pants that I did not do. Yep. This is for the Pixies World monthly comic strips. Me sitting at a potluck, and my friend said he got me a gift, and he was like, I was gonna not get you dumb shit, but we walked in the store and I saw this thing, and it was like the fucking craziest thing he's seen in his life, so he got me it for Christmas. Whoa, I'm so sorry. And this is not a continuation from the previous conversation, but this is when my birthday happened, and I was shopping, because my birthday's on December 23rd, and I can't really get people to come spend time with me, like, at a party or anything, so the only thing I have as a choice of form of celebration is shopping. So I went to a stationery shop, and it was so crowded, but I got these little goodies, and they made me happy. And then the same thing happened. I went to a clothing store, and it was so crowded, but I got a beautiful maxi skirt, and here's the poses that I was thinking of. So yeah, and me giving information about what's actually happening in the panel. Here's me drawing. I like the idea of making an illustration, but literally every time I do it, I actually don't enjoy illustrating, at all. It is not fun for me. So there's the idea of a girl sitting in her bedroom, and she's journaling, and has little cute posters up and whatever. And then here's another character. She has no name. I like her design. I think she's real cute. That's it. I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I drew that. I can't replicate it ever again. Here's another Pixie's World monthly comic strip. Me at a bookstore, and I was taken aback by the beautiful books I was seeing. And one of them was I think this one's Franz Kafka book. I can't remember what it's called. The design was really beautiful. And then I stumbled upon The Lost Man by Mary Shelley, and I was like, oh, whoa. And then I saw Frankenstein and this beautiful cover, and I was like, oh my god. And I was tapping against it because it makes such a nice sound. And then I found this Moomin's comic book strip, and I was in love, and I was gushing and whatever. And then later we got kimchi ramen, but I didn't draw this. I just kept it to the 40s. But let me show you the Moomin's book. Here, we got this. It's a comic strip. How nice is that? More of a character that I mentioned earlier. I don't have a name for her. I was coming up with another illustration idea of a goth person reading a book, and on the signs it says support your local library or library punk or something like that. And then this is real hard to see because the paper I'm using is now animation paper, and it's really hard. It's transparent, so yeah. Anyways, I was trying to come up with emojis or emotes for myself because I was I'm doing pixel art right now, and I wanted to try it. I only drew maybe this one or something like that. Yeah, I think I drew this one, but it didn't look this silly, so whatever. I'll revisit this in the future. Monthly comic. I was at a New Year's party with my grandma's, and me, my sister, and her friend, we were all watching King of the Hill, and then we were talking, and then we went and there was another set of twins, these older guys, and they came up to me and was like, hey, look, I brought my twin brother. And they stood in front of me, and me and my sister was like, oh, yay, nice. And we went oh, but in reality we're okay, because me and my sister are twins. And so when we see other sets of twins, our reaction isn't really oh, wow, so cool, wow. It's more well, whatever, yeah. I don't think being a twin is that special, and not as rare as people make it seem. Yep. Anyways, this was a exercise from a blog post that I read, and it was essentially saying label things happening. So it started off as me drawing my journal pouch, and I made it stylized, and I was I labeled it my life in one bag, because essentially it is my life in one bag. It has my journal, it has my sketchbook, it has my pocket notebook, all that stuff. And then I drew a ladybug, and I say my luck, because I find ladybugs through my lucky bug. And then in that I drew this whole page in this, and it's like a cycle of me continuing to draw. And here's me. And then my cup of coffee, which I don't think I labeled this, funnily enough. So yeah. Anyways, it's a cycle of my life, and I call it the story. Here's me. It's literally just me. Drawings of me, stylized. I'm trying to capture my, like, essence, because I do think of myself as a really bubbly person, but visually I do not give off, like, bubbly, and I do that on purpose, actually. I like making myself look more grungier and gothic in comparison to my personality, so it's like juxtaposing what people perceive of me. So yeah, there's me. I can't capture my essence quite well. I don't think I have a very flat face when I talk to people, though. If you saw me, I don't think that's the thing you would see me or perceive me as. I'm coming up with another logo, except it's on a different part of my blog. On the website, it has like this little area where you could put like a stamp or something. I could not figure out the fucking size for it, so I essentially just got discarded, but I did draw it. I was in a stream with Art Baltazar, and I love his work, and he said my work was very Betty Boop, because we were talking about Betty Boop being public domain. This is for a thumbnail for a recent blog post. I think this blog post is the one that came out. Anyways, it is. Practice and testing, and I was just trying to come up with, like, a thumbnail. I was like, oh, when you're testing stuff, people obviously think of, like, scientific experimentations and whatever, and when you're practicing, I think homework and whatever. So, yeah, essentially, there's that. Here's me drawing out parts of the comic page and, like, doing my own little test on it, and here's a sticky note on it. Here's me sitting at my desk with a bunch of papers and me focusing on it here, and yeah, same time. I find that I have a lot of thumbnails that kind of take place on my desk, so I need to back away for a little bit. And here's where we landed. If you saw this on my YouTube, yeah, this is where it came from. And here's a little me standing in the middle with my arms posed. I don't know where I was going to go with that, so I essentially discarded it, but there's that. And here's the last page. Oops. If this page is able to be shown, then I will show it. So, if not, this will be cut. Anyways, the collaboration I'm working on with a friend named Bree, I'll put their @ on screen. I don't know their pronouns. She, they, maybe. I don't know. The zine is about rekindling girlhood, and me and Bree have two different, opposite experiences of the same thing. I grew up more feminine. No, that's a lie. I grew up a tomboy and became feminine. Why is that really hard to say? Bree grew up feminine and became masculine, and I wanted to have this type of connection that we are both reaching out and essentially saying that this is connected. This experience is the same, and they're not separate. So yeah, I was just trying out what things could be shown on that page, and I put my journal because I'm thinking of things that are feminine or girly. So I put journal, nail polish, a DSI, which is more masculine. Yes, it may not be as true of a statement now, but growing up in the early 2000s, gaming was predominantly a guy thing. It was perceived as things that boys did, And when I did gaming growing up, my mother was not very supportive, and she was like, only guys play video games, girls don't play video games. So it's really hard to get into gaming. I'll talk about that in my zine. So yeah, I want to do like pixel art type of like texture, so there's that. I added an action figure because that's the only thing I can think of like other people having. Like, I have dolls. I also have, I think I play with my brother's action figures, and essentially I wanted to go with the girls holding hands, so it can symbolize the connection that's happening between two of them, or both of them. So yeah, maybe, and oh, she's holding the journal, by the way, and the other one's gonna be holding a skateboard or something. Yep. So there's that. And that is the end of this sketchbook tour. Yay! So yeah, that is the end of the sketchbook tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if I can show the last page, so I will definitely be contacting my friend about that. But if you do see it, I hope you enjoyed. And actually be on watch out for my zine. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it's currently in the process of being made, so check it out. And yeah, I definitely recommend getting a binder for your sketchbooks instead of continuously purchasing like loads of sketchbooks, because they are getting stupid expensive. And if you want to be on a budget and just use the materials around you, just get a binder. It doesn't even have to be this, it could be whatever. This just so happens to be a really good size for me that I can carry around. So yeah. And before then, I didn't really have a sketchbook practice. I haven't sketchbooked since maybe 2021 when I was in college, but even then we were so busy that I could not actually find time or even enjoyment in sketchbooking for myself. This has become not entirely an essential part of my process, but it has helped me move away from like overthinking everything and actually starting to come to terms with like process or progress over perfection and whatever. So yeah, definitely recommend getting a sketchbook binder. And if you do, tag me, show me all your work, and yeah. And this is pretty much the end of the video. If you want to consider like helping me out and whatever, please visit my Ko-fi page. I do have comics up and a zine up for you to purchase, and you can even donate on there if you do not feel like buying my work. But anyways, read my blog, support my work, support my art, go to my Ko-fi, and that is it. Goodbye. See ya.